Welcome to I Said What I Said. I'm Brad Wakai. That's Tyson Gentry. We have now officially entered bowl season, at least for our previews, because we have the NCAA disrespecting Army-Navy game by putting the first bowl game of the season on that night. Now, it was a pretty interesting game, I'm not going to lie, but as we're recording this is on Tuesday night. Memphis is underway against West Virginia. And so what we're going to do, this is your first time joining us, we're going to cycle this thing around. So we're going to do kind of a week's time, give you a look at what's going on, who's opted out, because that's the whole thing. And at the end of the show, we're going to give out some of our picks for this cycle too. So we're going to try to get in early. And Tyson will tell you where you can find if we need to hedge or if we're going to change any of our stuff at the end as well. But this is the time to make money in bowl season, man. It's information. It's like Wall Street, man. You need to start getting me some information.
Yeah, I just take it all in when Brad tells me here. Brad's got all the transfer stuff ahead of him. This is like the, Zach Galifianakis meme with all the numbers flying around. It is impossible to track this stuff, people. We don't know who's playing, who's not. Even if they haven't entered the transfer portal, they might not suit up. We got Memphis playing West Virginia right now, kind of kicking things off. That's about halftime here as we record. So these lines could change by the time you hear the episode out in the morning, but we're going to do our best to hit the stuff that we think isn't going to move a ton. But dude, this is confusing.
Yeah, it is. And so let's dive into the Western Kentucky James Madison game. That's the Boca Raton Bowl. That's going to be on Wednesday, 5:30 Eastern on December 18th. So as you're listening to this is the game tonight. So Western Kentucky's got a lot here, Tyson. I mean, holy smokes. Starting quarterback, Caden Velkamp, he's in the portal. He's going to play, though. So that's something to keep in mind here. We're going to look for offensive linemen, star playmakers, and quarterbacks. That's who really we're eyeing here. But starting wide receiver, starting center, starting right guard, starting linebacker, starting defensive end, starting nose tackle, starting defensive tackle, starting safety, all in the portal. And you got some backup guys. Marcus Patterson, mainly 344 snaps. That's notable. TJ Finley, the original starter here, he already transferred with Tulane. So you got a lot of moving pieces here for Western Kentucky. But on the flip side, James Madison, first year to their head coach, right? Signetti's gone. You bring in a new guy. They want to make a statement here. Only 3 players in the portal. Starting left tackle being the only one of note. And defensive lineman Daryl Deneau, 275 snaps. But really, it's James Madison full strength against a Western Kentucky team that is looking ahead and looking for new opportunities. We've been a James Madison fan in the past, Tyson. What do you think about this one to kick us off?
Yeah, I mean, we've been James Madison fans in the past, but we've also been a little bit like Western Kentucky is just kind of a constant here with Tyson Helton in Conference USA. I think he's 4-1 in bowl games, and they're still getting a chance to kind of operate during practice, at least leading up to this at a level that should allow them maybe to test this James Madison defense a little bit. JMU's pass defense has been really good this season. Also crazy to me that TJ Finley still can transfer around. This dude's been in college as long as we've been out of it, brother. But this is going to be a fun football game. It's 2 programs you probably didn't get to see a ton during the year here, but like Keyshawn Johnson and Easton Messer, like these are good players, and it's tough to really. This is the time where you can kind of pick. Okay, these 4 guys are going to be back next year. I want to put a futures ticket in on this team to win the Conference USA or whatever it is.
So looking ahead, and I'll kind of give some stuff out here just for everybody's mind. Now, I should mention that starting quarterback after James McLeod left, Alonzo Barnett is out with an injury. So Billy Atkins, redshirt junior, he's going to start. Bob Chesney said he's ready to go. He's taking a ton of reps. So it's going to be different QB for James Madison, but they're ready to win their first bowl game. Offensively, I'll just kind of run through these quick for each game, just give everybody an idea here. Offensively, EPA per rush for Western Kentucky, 103rd, 63rd EPA per dropback. Again, they're going to have their starting quarterback, but 68th in EPA per rush, 21st EPA per dropback for James Madison. So this is a good matchup for James Madison defensively. If you can kind of tell where I'm going as we get in the money-making time at the end. And offensively for James Madison, 64th in EPA per rush, 74th in EPA per pass. Against the defense is 89th and 96th. Western Kentucky's defense left something to be desired at the end of their offense, was a little bit spotty. So I think this is a good spot for JMU.
I know you do. I think this is a good spot for points. I think there could be some home runs on the ground here.
Okay. All right. Let's keep that in mind here, folks. Let's move on to Cal and UNLV. This is an interesting one in the LA Bowl. This is the late game here on Wednesday, December 18th, 9 p.m. on ESPN. Barry Odom, UNLV head coach, he at Purdue now. That's an interesting decision, in my opinion. So Dan Mullen gets hired to run UNLV. He'd be the head coach there. He's not going to coach this bowl game. It's going to be wide receiver coach Del Alexander, who's going to be the interim. That does scare me. But on the flip side, Cal, their starting quarterback for Fernando Mendoza is gone. Chandler Rogers, their backup, he's out. He got hurt, so he ain't playing. So I think this is going to be a kind of a mess here, Tyson. Transfer portal-wise, it's really only the notables. Sluka, he's in the portal originally, but
he's been in the portal for like 8 months.
Right. So it's going to be Malik Williams. People thought maybe he'd be looking for another opportunity, but looks like he's going to return. Other than that, starting quarterback Tony Grimes is in the portal. He said he's going to play. And outside of the quarterback for Mendoza for Cal, it's starting wide receiver Isaiah Hunter, who's their leading receiver. He's in the portal. Opt-outs potentially to watch Jackson Woodard for UNLV, although he says he'll play right now. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's freaking bowl season. Who knows? And Ricky White, wide receiver, says he's playing right now, but who knows? So that's something of note there, Tyson. So UNLV has a chance to put a stamp on this season for themselves.
Yeah, and we've seen Chandler Rogers before. It was when SMU put the boots to Cal, like 38-6, and they couldn't move the football. Cal's defense remains somewhat intact here throughout the transfer portal, but it's not the strength of this football team. I think they were like 82nd in the country, something like that this season. This is setting up, or 82nd against the pass here against Malik Williams. Yes, it's the Mountain West, but I think that UNLV had a great season, and it would be a shame if a coach stepping out of the door a week early kind of cost them a bowl victory.
Yeah, that would be tough. And, California on offense, 83rd knee paper rush was kind of weird considering Jade Knott. I mean, he was supposed to be the guy. 56 knee paper dropback. Mendoza was really good for him. It's going to be a drop-off. Gets a defense 14th in EPA per rush, 39th EPA per pass. That's been the calling card of UNLV's defense with Woodard in there as expected. Should still be very good. UNLV's offense, 37th EPA per rush, 45th EPA per dropback. Cal's defense has been the strength of their team this year, 63rd in stopping the run, 66th in stopping the pass on an EPA basis. So good. I think a little good defensive matchup here. You expect UNLV to win, but, head coaching changes always throws a wrench into everything. Yeah,
and it feels like between Barry Odom and Bronco Mendenhall, it's like as soon as these guys get, somebody that seems like they're going to lead the program forever, greener pastures show up.
Yeah, that's for sure. I can't believe Bronco Mendenhall had to take the Utah State job. Can somebody freaking hire him in the power conference, for Christ's sake?
Just let him. He can come coach right down the road from me. He can come right back in Montana, fly fish. He's good.
Georgia Southern, Sam Houston. December 19th, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Now, Sam Houston's going through another head coaching change, right? Casey Keeler, guy who's with them FCS level. Tyson, you know him well. He took the Temple job. They were like freaking people. There was like calmness in Philly saying it's time to get rid of football. And Casey Keeler steps up and takes his job. Guy who seems to want to build in Philly. So that's something huge there. Sam Houston's offensive coordinator, Brad Cornelson, will be the interim for this game. So we'll see. Apparently, Tyson, he's going to call plays from the box. Who's going to be running things on the sideline? Who freaking knows? So that's something to keep in mind here. There's a ton of people in the transfer portal, as you'd expect for Sam Houston. Starting running back, starting receiver, 2 starting safeties, or starting defensive end, starting corner, starting linebacker, starting defensive tackle. Then you have on the 2 deep gone, 2 other running backs, 2 other defensive tackles, another linebacker. Their tight end has played 407 snaps, and their backup quarterback. So most of the portal entries are going to play. That's the report. Apparently, they want to go out on a high note here, Tyson. So we'll kind of see what happens. Georgia Southern on the other side, only 2. Wide receiver DeAndre Buchanan, who only had 63 snaps, and their backup quarterback Dexter Williams. So not much going on there. So this is an interesting one. Georgia Southern seems ready to play. Sam Houston, although there's a coaching change, the players who are in the portal, they're like, well, we want to do one more last time here in Sam Houston.
Georgia Southern maybe could have benefited from like all 10 of the offensive and defensive linemen hitting the portal here. They haven't been great at the line of scrimmage here. They're like 102nd in rush yards per game. And Sam Houston State on the flip side has kind of made their hay with their defense this season. That's how they got to this bowl game. The offense leaves a lot to be desired. This is, if you like watching sick college football, I think this one is directly up your alley.
This is the one that pisses me off, and Tyson's texting me. He's like, this game is awesome. And I'm like,
yeah, we do have different philosophies.
89th in EPA per rush, 60th in EPA per dropback for Georgia Southern's offense. Sam Houston State, like Tyson said, good on the defensive side of the ball, 69th and 65th in those categories. And this is going to be an offense that, God, if Sam Houston can't move the ball on this team, there's an issue. 99th in EPA per rush, 95th in EPA per dropback, but Georgia Southern 117th and 85th in those metrics. Ohio versus Jacksonville State. Tyson, what do you know? Another group of 5 team losing their coach. This time it's your old boy, Rich Rodriguez taking the job at West Virginia. He gone. He's out. So Jacksonville State, although they've had a good run under Rich Rodriguez, their group of 5 team is tough. And Ohio, Tyson, they lost their coach too. Tim Albin, he leaves the MAC. He goes to Charlotte. So the offensive coordinator, Brian Smith, is going to take over. Rod Smith, the offensive coordinator for Jacksonville State, is going to take over as the interim. So it's a battle here. Ohio has nobody in the freaking portal. It's pretty remarkable to think about. Only team. I mean, freaking even Army's got one in the portal. Right? So keep that in mind there. Jacksonville State on the other side, as you'd expect, starting wide receiver, starting safety, starting outside linebacker, their other starting safety, and their 2 starting cornerbacks are in the portal. So, again, more movement. You got to keep an eye on this stuff, Tyson. I tend to think, even defensively in these bowl games, if you're in the transfer portal, you don't necessarily play. Sometimes that benefits you. I think the only time that you really struggle is when your starting quarterback is in, or like your true game breakers on defense in the offensive line.
So I agree with you. But on this particular football game, Brad, why don't you share with the folks, what does Jacksonville State do really well on offense?
Oh, Tyson, they throw the rock well, right?
I don't know. They want to pound you. And the Ohio defense has not allowed more than 165 yards outside of a game against Kentucky where they got 206. Ohio is undefeated in those games where they allow less than 100 yards or 115 rushing yards. They're 8-0. They're 2-3 when teams get over that number. Jacksonville State is going to test that. I have no idea what to expect on this one. This feels like this is one of those bowl matchups that before the transfer portal, this would have been appointment viewing for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, I mean, let's look at these stats like Tyson kind of laid out. And these are the advanced stats I'd take a peek at. 47th in EPA per rush. Like Tyson said, they're a good offensive rushing team for Jacksonville State. 92nd in EPA per dropback. And if you watch them, I mean, it's painful. I can't believe they're 92nd and throwing the football. Like, you watch Jacksonville State and you're like, what the hell? Like, might as well just run triple option because it is ugly throwing the ball. What's
Tyler
that?
Huff? Is it Huff?
I think, yeah, he's playing too, I believe, from what I'm gathering here. But on the flip side, like you said, Ohio, the reason why they had success this year in the MAC, they're good defense, 58th in EP per rush, 68th in EP per dropback. Tyson just laid out the raw numbers, which is, you got to take that into account too. And then offensively for Ohio, 44th in EP per rush, 88th in EP per dropback against a defense that's 93rd and 97th. I just said Jacksonville State's losing a ton of starters on that side of the football. So that may be something to keep in mind for Ohio if they're going to be able to move the ball at will in this one. I
think Ohio wins this football game, but I couldn't tell you why.
And the problem, the MAC is just so bad in bowl games. Like, I think they did a little bit better last year, Tyson, but it's like, God, can you trust them? Like, they should win this game. They lose their coach, but people want to play, and you got your guys, and it's been a good football team, but you got to kind of question because it's the MAC. It sucks. Let's go to this one here. The Gasparilla Bowl between Tulane and Florida. This is on Friday, December 20th, 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. It's the second game behind the Cure Bowl, which is Ohio and Jacksonville State. Tulane got kicked in the balls, man. I mean, Darian Mincer, their star freshman quarterback, thought they were going to have him in New Orleans for a while. He puts his name to the portal, immediately commits to Duke. They're going to have Ty Thompson, their backup QB, who's also in the portal, going to start this game. He's a former 5-star kid, really hasn't gotten a shake. This is going to be his showcase game, for lack of a better term. They already got TJ Finley coming in, so I think Thompson's probably on the way out. Tulane, another starting defensive end, Matthew Fobbs-White. He out. He committed to Baylor. Defensive lineman Parker Peterson committed to Wisconsin. So you got like some dudes off this team who can play at the Power 5 level or Power 4 level, And on the flip side, Florida, not only are they injured, I mean, they got some guys who were banged up, but, they got some other guys in the transfer portal, other guys who have opted out, other guys who have committed elsewhere. So DJ Lagway is playing. It's a Florida team that's ending on a high note and kind of ascending, but you're going to have some turnover.
Tulane deserved, after the way that their season went, to be in a better game than this bowl game. And it also feels that the way Florida ended, they deserve an opponent that's going to show up, closer to full force. This feels to me like like the line right now is set at 13.5, and I don't know which way this football game is going to go. The way that Florida closed the season was awesome. That was Sunbelt Billy. That's what he was brought in to do. And then the flip side, like 3 weeks ago, I was pounding the table that Tulane might be the best P5 team in the country. It doesn't feel that way anymore. This feels a lot like you're going to watch some second string guys versus some second string guys, and I think the SEC second string guys might be a little better.
Yeah, that's what you got to think about here, right? It's like that line is huge, and like normally I'd say, you want to take Tulane, they want to be motivated, they want to beat Florida. You love these G5 teams going up to face a P5 or P4 when their guys are out and they're kind of looking for greener pastures. Oh, we Gasparilla Bowl, we're Florida, who cares? But Tulane guys are kind of thinking the same thing, right? The backups are going to play hard, but the Florida guys want a spot too. Like their coach is coming back, they want to position themselves. Take this with a grain of salt here on these offensive side for Tulane. 48th in EPA per rush, 18th in EPA per drop back. That's going to change with Thompson at QB. I think the EPA might go up on the running side of the ball. But against the Florida defense, it's 39th and 48th. You want to attack them through the air. Like Tyson knows, like that's where you attack Florida. I think it's going to be a struggle for Tulane to move the ball a little bit if they can't throw the football down the field. On the flip side, Florida, 25th in EPA per rush on offense, 38th in EPA per pass. Tulane's defense, 50th in EPA per rush. Like they've been good at stopping the run at times. And other times they've been gashed. And that was prevalent against Memphis, prevalent against Army. It's the reason why they lost 2 in a row to close the year. But they're 17th in the EPA per drop back. So if they can get after Lagway, if they can play good defense, disguise some things, John Summerall's a really good coach. This could be interesting, but I'm with you. I have no clue how this game's going to play out. Like Tulane could come in and be ready to go. Florida could come in and be ready to go, and they could both win. I just have no idea.
What would Florida's EPA per pass be if there was if Graham Mertz just didn't exist?
It'd be higher, right? I mean, probably top 30 for sure. Coastal Carolina, once the just darlings of the Group of 5 level, facing UTSA. In a very interesting matchup, Tyson, I got to say. This is the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Like, it's Coastal's like, how do we draw the short stick? Like, are you kidding me? Plus, this is on Monday, December 23rd at 11 a.m. Eastern. So, like, what the hell is going on there? They're going to be on campus. Like, they're going to be partying. It's finals week. Like, what's going on? UTSA is, like, out of town. They're doing their whole bowl thing. Myrtle Beach is a great place at this time of year. So, I have no clue. Tyson, both QBs that Coastal use this year, they're in the portal. So no Noah Kim, no Ethan Vasco. Only true freshmen on the roster behind them. Good luck. Tad Hudson, 0 career snaps, Tyson. I think he's going to get the start here. Also, starting tight end, he's out. He's going to transfer. Top cornerback, already signed with Cincy. Starting offense, outside linebacker, signed with Auburn. Like their best player is getting plucked. Like that's what happens here. And then they already got some injuries that they're dealing with, starting right tackle, wide receiver, both linebackers who missed the final 2. So who knows if they're going to be healthy for this one. And then UTSA, they started ending on a high note. Like it was a struggle. It was weird here for UTSA this season, but I think this is an opportunity for them to make a statement here in the bowl game and try building some momentum down there.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's a little bit unfair for the way that things have kind of transpired here for Coastal, but that's the way, the cookie crumbles, and we can't get too mad at the way the transfer portal set up, because at the end of it, we forget sometimes that they still have to go to school and semesters start when semesters start. So that's the way this thing kind of shook out. Coastal had just a strange year. They've had a really strange last couple of years. I'm half expecting Grayson McCall just to show up and suit up for these kids at some point. I think UTSA kind of rolls here. I think that is probably the public side, but I'm in agreement with you. I think this is a program looking to kind of put a stamp on a really good season that they just had versus one that it feels like everybody's just like, I'm done with this. Like this year was a lost year anyways for Coastal in some ways. So it's not super surprising.
No, it's not. And Tyson, let me throw these out here for you. Coastal Carolina offensively, they're 101st in EPA per rush. They're 46th in EPA per drop back. Like that was their strength. We don't know about the freshmen, but I get a hard time believing that they're going to come in and just tear it up after playing high school football last year. And the way to attack UTSA defensively is through the air. They're 34th in EPA per rush at stopping it. They're 120th in EPA per drop back. So if you can't attack that, I mean, and we've seen UTSA get freaking torched on defense through the air. I mean, that North Texas game was comedy. And then on the flip side, though,
you bet the over in every North Texas game after that. We were just like, this is how it goes.
It was crazy. Flip side here, Tyson. UTSA's offense, these metrics, 123rd in e-paper rush, 93rd in e-paper drop back. Not great. They've been getting better. They've been able to score points. They're going to go against a coastal team. Again, 1 foot out the door for a lot of these guys. 109th in e-paper rush, 75th in e-paper drop back. So both Tyson and I will have a play in this game later in money making time, so stay tuned to that. Let's move into this one. Northern Illinois, Fresno State. They're going to be playing on the Smurf turf, baby, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. You got to think Fresno is not looking forward to going to Boise at this time of year, man.
Yeah,
Woo!
I mean, this is nice for the kids from Northern Illinois. Like, it's probably a little reprieve. It's not, it's going to be cold, but it's a little bit different kind of cold. This is not fair for them. Also, just a yearly reminder that the Boise State Stadium is the Albertson Stadium. Albertson's is blue. The turf is blue. We're going to get that beat through our heads during this football game. Brad, I don't know what to expect. The Northern Illinois has had the biggest roller coaster season of all time. Like, it started so high, and it was like they're walking away with the conference championship this year, and then it got into conference play, and it was like these guys can't even hang with the dudes who we're talking about can't win bowl games.
It's crazy, and I think both teams are happy that this game's at 2:30 Eastern, right. So about noon in Boise, because holy smokes, it would get cold there at night. So that's on Monday, December 23rd. Tyson, Fresno State had coaching change, right? They had the interim. Matt Ince is going to be their new head coach. Current interim, Tim Skipper, is going to coach the bowl game. So no new head coach bump there. I'm sure he'll be in attendance. But listen to this portal thing, man. Makin, starting quarterback, starting wide receiver, 2 of them. He already signed with Arkansas, Raylan Sharp. Starting cornerback, 2 starting defensive tackles, or starting linebacker who's now committed to Auburn. They are in the portal. They've already decided. How about this? Another wide receiver, Magdalena, declared for the NFL draft. Cornerback Cam Lockridge declared for the NFL draft. On the flip side, Northern Illinois, here we go. Their starting quarterback, he committed to Wake Forest, but then Dave Clawson stepped down. Now he's back in the portal, so he's looking. Starting safety signed with Missouri. They're starting wide receivers also in the portal. They're starting defensive tackle and defensive end. They also lost 2 deep edge rushing depth. One who signed with Mississippi State and Navia Sanders. So who knows, man? I think it's going to be Josh Holst who's going to be the quarterback, according to this. He had reps earlier in the season when Ethan Hampton, their starter, was injured. But God, man, this whole thing is kind of crazy. Just you have no clue who's going to play. There's already 2 teams we have question marks about. So I have no idea what to expect with another MAC team.
No, I don't want to gloss over the Ents thing. I think that's a huge get here for Fresno going forward. This is he's not going to be able to James Madison or Kirk Cignetti his way and grab all these JMU guys because he's been out of North Dakota State here for a couple of years. But he might not be able to recruit Minnesota as well, not being so close. But this is a guy who stacked some really good recruiting classes at the FCS level, and it's a program that I think could use some juice.
He might be able to recruit it better because it's like, boys, you want to come to California and not freeze your ass off?
That's true.
Quickly here, Fresno State's offense, again, take this with a grain of salt. They got a ton of opt-outs. 87th in e-paper rush, 106th in e-paper drop back. And that's what the veteran Mikey Keene, this offense stunk. It was just so bad this year. One you have to wonder about. And defensively for Northern Illinois, they're 79th in e-paper rush, 38th in e-paper drop back. So that's a matchup you want to maybe circle there. They can just shut down the pass, can do some work in the run game. On the flip side, Tyson, this Northern Illinois team competed with Notre Dame. They beat them, right? Like,
yeah, they didn't just compete.
It was crazy. But they're freaking 100th in e-paper rush, 108th in e-paper drop back. What the hell happened here? Like you kind of pointed out. And Fresno State's defense, 81st in e-paper rush, 54th in e-paper drop back. Again, guys are in the portal, so you kind of take that. But that's what they're up against here. I think this is going to be a slog.
Yeah, and this is something probably close to your heart as well. You could probably tell exactly when we're born. I'm going with Northern Illinois here only because of my love for Jordan Lynch.
Ah, yeah, dude. Yeah. That's a great callback. Let's close here. The Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve. 8 p.m. Eastern.
Send these
on
guys
ESPN.
to Idaho, dude.
South Florida and San Jose State.
Yeah, like they're gonna go to Hawaii. That's not fair.
They're both in San Jose. They're Northern Cal, so I'm sure it's a little cold there. But yeah, South Florida gets to go to Hawaii. Come on, they're already in paradise. So Tyson, this one to me, I'm always going to root for Coach Ken. I thought he got a raw deal at Navy. I mean, they canned him. Like, really? What are you talking about? I mean, it's insane. Shocking to be completely honest. South Florida, they're a weird team because they always compete with Alabama every single time they play them, and then after that they suck. Like I don't know what's going on. Not a lot of movement in the portal here. 2 starting cornerbacks for South Florida. One, DJ Harvey, who signed with USC, and Michael Dansby. They're out, and then backup Emmett Brown's in the portal, and that's with Byron Brown. He has been out with a lower leg injury since week 5. So I don't know who's going to be taking snaps here. Maybe it's Brown. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't say if he's going to play or not. Nick Nash opted out for San Jose State. They're all-world wide receiver. Should have won the Blitnikoff. He's out. So
just a joke. I mean, look, we're not anti-Travis Hunter here, but there is like a clear, definitive marker here as far as statistics go, and he cleared in every. What are we talking about?
It's crazy. And I'm sorry, the starting cornerbacks and backup quarterback Emmett Brown was for San Jose State. South Florida, their starting safety is out. Starting defensive tackle, starting left guard is out. So a couple things in the trenches there. But again, not a whole lot of opt-outs here. You got your 2 established coaches, some guys looking for greener pastures, ready to move on. But really, this is going to be a full-strength matchup, except for the guy, Nick Nash, is not going to be in play. He's not going to be playing.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a full-strength matchup between the Chiefs and the Bills, but Mahomes doesn't suit up. That's kind of the way this feels. He's a 6-year guy, and it hurts that he doesn't get the recognition that he deserved because we're rooting for him, but he doesn't strike me as a 10-year guy in the NFL that's going to have a long and lucrative career. So I'm bummed. I'm super bummed. South Florida always does play Bama close. This was the most gettable Bama team. They were hanging with Miami for a minute too, and it was like, oh, maybe this team's pretty good. I think they stink. I think San Jose State stinks as well. Like their entire offense was just like, hey, we have one guy and he's better than every corner he's going up against. I don't know what to expect. I know. Yes, nobody's really in the portal. The guy's in the portal. The offense is in the portal. Or the offense isn't playing, excuse me.
Yeah, man, it's tough. Same recruiting class, Nick Nash, as Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Let that sink in, folks. Last one
like
here.
4 years younger than that tight end from Miami.
Oh, God, dude. Yeah, that guy's been – was it Cam something? Or
McCormick, I think.
McCormick, yeah. My God. Put a bow on this. South Florida offensively, 88th in EPA per rush, 114th in EPA per dropback. They have not been able to throw the football well. San Jose State's defense, 49th in EPA per rush, 123rd in EPA per dropback. So that's how you get them. South Florida ain't throwing the ball well. That's scary proposition. Offensively, EPA per rush, 78th for San Jose State, 70th in EPA per dropback. Concerned about how that offense looks. South Florida's defense, though, leaves something to be desired. 92nd EPA per rush, 105th in EPA per dropback. So I think San Jose State wins. I'm rooting for them. Like I said, love Coach Ken. Nothing against South Florida here, but, I root for the good guys in the sport, and Coach Ken seems to be the guy.
Yeah, and he had a really good year in the Mountain West. It'd be pretty cool if he could stamp this thing.
All right. We've gone through the previews. We've gone through kind of some of our thoughts, but it doesn't mean anything until we put our money where our mouth is. So we got games in this cycle. Tyson, without further ado, let's get into it. You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen.
It's money-making time.
And for like the first time all year, except for week 0, actually, because there was limited games, I have the same amount of plays as Tyson. I mean, it's shocking. I know if you've been following us along. Well, we'll see how we do. We had a rough close to the year. We'll kind of tally it up.
I had a rough opening, middle, and close. Let's just...
Well, we'll tally it up at the end. Maybe Tyson can make up for it in the bowl game because this is the time where you can kind of attack some soft lines. We will start here. James Madison, Tyson. I have it as -7 on BetMGM -115. That to me is a number you got to attack here. I think they're motivated to play. I think they're going to take it to Western Kentucky. This to me is an opportunity for James Madison to win their first bowl game in program history since jumping up from the FCS level. Western Kentucky, sure, the guys, they've done it before. Put your name in the portal. You can play, and it's fine. But if you're not going to be ready to play, James Madison's going to put the boots to you. And so I think James Madison rolls here. I'm laying the 7. I'd play it even at 7.5. If it moves up to 8, I'd be interested. Anything above that, I'd be a little concerned. I like the 1 score. But if you can get it at 7, got to take that here at BetMGM.
And I'm going with the over in the Western Kentucky James Madison game. I think JMU can hit some explosives on the ground, and I do think they're going to do enough to win the game. I'm a little bit nervous of a 30-24, something like that here at that -7 number, but I think we're going to get points. I don't think we're going to get a ton of points in a lot of these bowl games, but this feels like one to me. Also, it doesn't feel like a different lifetime ago that James Madison scored 1 billion points.
Yeah, against North Carolina.
Yes.
Oh my goodness gracious. Next one for me, Tyson. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm taking the under in the Cal UNLV game. That's under 48.5 -115 on FanDuel. Not 7 touchdowns. We're under that number. Anything above that, we're not going to get, just because I don't think there's going to be a lot of moving the ball here. Like, Cal lost their starting quarterback, was really the only thing good about that offense. And UNLV's defense is really good. If they got guys ready to play, want to make a statement, I like that. But let's say Ricky White doesn't play, he's a late opt-out, that offense takes a hit. Even if he does play, Cal's defense has done a good job of being able to shut down teams in the ACC. I think they'll be able to do that here for UNLV, against UNLV, I should say, especially without their head coach. So I'm going to take the under 48.5.
Barry Odom be damned. I'm going UNLV -2.5 here. Put a stamp on a season where you got a number next to your name. Yes, you didn't win the Mountain West and you didn't make the college football playoff. Still one of the better years in the history of the program. And if they can finish the year with a 20 next to their name, that's a huge accomplishment here. I think they win the game.
Yeah, and this is the best number here at FanDuel, the 2.5. So at 3, Tyson, would you still be interested in playing that?
Yeah, I am fully aware that sometimes I let the sentimental overtake the brain part of me, but I do think that UNLV, I think they're going to roll a little bit.
Ooh, okay. And my next play here, I'm going to go with South Florida. I just talked about. I'm going to go a little bit out of order because Tyson and I got the same play in one. I'm going to take +3.5 -110 on FanDuel. I was going to take the under in this one just because without Nick Nash, but I'm just going to take the points with South Florida. Tyson, 1, San Jose State goes out to Hawaii all the time. Yeah. Like that's part of their schedule, the Mountain West. This is like a real trip for South Florida. They're bought in. They got a couple guys in the portal, but this is a chance for them to have some fun with their brothers to close out the year right before Christmas. Let's go out to Hawaii. Let's play a football game. Let's face the San Jose State team that's losing literally their offense. Like, Nick Nash is out. Like, I don't think you can take into account how much that means. Now, there are issues I have with South Florida. I think maybe they can cowboy up for one game here. Give me the hook in the 3, and I'll take this on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I think if you like on all these games, it just feels like maybe it makes more sense to just take the underdog because we don't know what we're getting out of these teams. I do know that I'm going to get the under here in this Georgia Southern Sam Houston State game, and I don't know if it's going to be that close to 48.5 or 49 points on Caesar. I laid it out earlier in the show. Georgia Southern they're slow on offense. The offensive line isn't very good. The defensive line is very good. Sam Houston, yes, there's a ton of guys in the portal. Some of those guys are going to play, and some of those guys are going to play hard. They're auditioning a little bit for some of these spots. They're filling up awful quickly. I think that Sam Houston State can just put the boots to Georgia Southern on offense here, and I think that this could be a 27-10 football game.
Tyson, we're going to be sympathetic on this last one here, baby. Let's go UTSA -8.5, -115 on FanDuel. I play this up to 10. It's a lot of points.
Give it to me at 13.5, brother.
Take the alt line, baby. UTSA's got momentum. Jeff Traylor, we like their head coach. Coastal, this thing feels like it's kind of falling apart at the seams. Now, they could do one last Custer's last stand, right? Like, we're going down with it. We're going to go out in a blaze of glory. I don't see that happening here. I think UTSA is going to be ready to play. They get to go to Coastal. Coastal's on campus. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, are they going to class? Like, UTSA's got a whole week off. They're probably having a good time. They're hanging around. They're doing fun stuff for the bowl stuff, and then these guys got to leave class and go to do the festivities. It's crazy to me. So give me UTSA -8.5. I think they roll.
And it could be a Custer's last stand situation for Coastal, but one thing to keep in mind, I am a history major. Custer's last stand was a disaster for the United States military, just like this one is going to be a disaster for Coastal. Give me the Roadrunners, brother.
Let's go. So 4 plays each for Tyson and I here in this first cycle. I might jump on with UNLV with you here. I think I'm going to do that. Tyson, again, we talk about these lines moving. There's a potential for middling spots here. I mean, we've done that in the past. So if we're going to play back, where can they find our picks?
It'll be in the Discord app. I'm just making sure that this one got put in there. But if you were in the Discord, you got Brad playing Memphis right before kick here as this one started. That's another reason to be in it. They're up 2 touchdowns. We're not going to jinx anything right now. But yeah, Discord app group name, as I said, what I said, link is in the bio. Hit it. Let us know what you're playing in these bowl games, what you're playing on Saturday. I mean, that's the big fish really of this whole deal with the college football playoff. We're going to have another episode kind of diving into that, going over the first round. We're not some of these crazy people that you're going to see all over that are making their overall, we're not building the bracket here. We're going to go game by game, and we're going to take it one step at a time. This is a new thing for all of us, but that'll be coming later this week, and plays will be coming every day in the Discord.
Absolutely. Every day we got a ton of basketball stuff going on too. Like, subscribe, and share the show content-wise here. We got a ton coming at you. Tyson laid it out for you. Like he said, we're like the football coaches, man. We're one game at a time. We're not looking ahead to the bowls and it's the next round of CFP. No, who's winning on this Saturday? Who's winning on Friday in the Battle of Indiana? Like, that's what we're looking for. That's what we're going to preview. That's what we're going to break down. That's coming out next. Going to be in your feed if you're subscribed. That's why you got to do that, so you don't miss a single thing we put out. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that MF like button on the way out. If you're listening in podcast form, give us a 5-star if you have it. If you have, shout out. Tyson was telling me we got a freaking ton of reviews from you guys. Thank you very much. Share it with a friend. Share it with somebody you hate. If you want somebody to lose money, bring them to this show. Maybe we'll help you out. If you want to fade us, that could be happening too. We're hoping we get hot as we get ready to the bowl season. We got a ton of action for you. So we will be back later in the week, like Tyson said, previewing the CFP as we get locked and loaded for that. So we'll speak to you guys then. Peace.